What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Don Lucha. We're celebrating 1 year of the channel. It's almost been about a year now, and I was thinking, I'm like, 2025 is going to be a big year for Don Lucha and the Don Lucha channel. But let me throw it back, and let me go back to the very first video posted, and I decided to get back the two members that I posted that video with. Jack from the MWP. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. What's this I hear in 2025? You're going to throw it back for us? I'm doing well, though.
P, how you doing, bro? Can you top that? How you doing?
I'm doing a lot worse now that I know you're not throwing it back in 2025.
Oh my goodness. Come on, man.
I'm doing good. And hey, happy 1 year.
Hey, 1 year. Appreciate that,
Congratulations on 1 year.
Appreciate that. We're running it back. We're doing the same video that we did last year for my very first video, but we're going to be doing it for 2025 because 2024, I'd say it was up and down year for professional wrestling. I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, I felt like it was very up and down. A lot of things hit, a lot of things miss. We're going to be talking about all that stuff today. We're going to be giving our predictions, but let's go back real quick and let's look back at some of the 2024 predictions that we gave and some of the wacky ones that we gave out. Me and Jack, we predicted in 2020 to end 2024 that the WWE Women's Champion, the SmackDown one, was going to be Sasha Banks. And look at how that went. Sasha Banks isn't even a thing right now. If you want to see Sasha Banks, you got to go over to TBS and TNT and go watch Mercedes Moné tear it up in AEW. We were way off there. Some other ones, we all thought Okada was going to end up in WWE. The Okada sweepstakes, he was a free agent. We were thinking, where was he going to end up? WWE, AEW? It seems like it was going to be WWE. He was going to be joining Chase U. I know he wanted it. But he's the Continental. Yeah, he's the Continental champion right now. He's got a feud coming up with Kenny Omega. Looks like a big thing's coming.
Can't wait.
Who knows? That might be in one of your guys' year-end predictions coming up. We might hear about that. But folks, that was 2024. Now we're about to enter 2025. We got a couple days left of 2024. We're going to be predicting the same thing, but for 2025. And so we're going to be starting off with the return to the ring category. Who do you guys see returning to the ring in 2025? Whether it be WWE, AEW, or even somewhere out there in the indies, wherever.
No, I was going down a list, and everybody gets like stem cells now and everything. There's no big ones left.
I didn't even think about that.
Everybody's back. They've all come back, but I found a name that people are clamoring for. Going over to the women's division, it's AJ Lee, man.
Oh,
she's
no.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
She's got to be coming back this year.
That was my pick, man. That was who I had last year. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run it back. But you took it from me. You said AJ Lee. That was one of mine. But you know who I think is going to be coming back to the ring in 2025? One of the Bella twins is my pick. Either Nikki or Brie. You'll be seeing them in AEW in 2025 is what I believe.
AEW, wow.
Right, I forgot about that, yeah.
Pete, what you got?
Here comes the money.
Ooh.
I don't know if the 5-year gap is exactly right. I can't remember his last match.
Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, the next category we have Breakout Star. In 2024, we had Obafemi, Thea Hale, and Daniel Garcia respectively, and then they had a good year, some better, some worse, but in 2025, we're going to come up with some new names here. So we're going to start off with Pete. And so Pete, who will be your breakout star of 2025?
So for the breakout star for the men, I have Kyle Fletcher. I feel like I feel like it's almost an obvious choice right now.
Okay.
His trilogy with Ospreay was incredible. I think he had the most points scored in the C2 going into World's End. And then on the contrary, on the women's side, I've got Jordan Grace signing to WWE, and I think she'll have a championship. Not sure what championship, but I think she'll have a main roster championship within her first year.
Jack, who's your breakout star 2025, brother?
I went with the women's division as well. You could argue that she's kind of already broken out, but like there's more to this breakout. There's world titles. There's main events, right? I'm going with Willow Nightingale.
But now for me here, and the breakout star of 2025 for me, see, I have to pivot here because Jordan Grace was somebody that I was thinking of, and I had came up with a top 3, and Willow was a part of my other top 3. And the worst part
Oh,
about
boy.
it is the other person about that was Kyle Fletcher. So every name
You
that
go
I had.
first. You go first for the next category.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
You
have to go first for the next one because it's gonna be stolen from me, man. But thinking about it now, I think I'm gonna head over to NXT. I think Stephanie Valkyrie is in for a big, tremendous 2025.
Great pick.
Up next is one of my favorite ones, and it's coming up in about a month's time. The Royal Rumble. And this is just like last year. I feel like we're getting back to the point where they're starting to get more unpredictable. Because there was a big period of time where you just kind of figured who was gonna win. Like you knew that one year in 2019 it was gonna be Seth Rollins. They're starting to get more unpredictable now. Last year we had for the women's side, Jade Cargill showed up, and she was a candidate to win down in the stretch, but ultimately we had Bayley win it. And so this year it's like who is it gonna be? Are they gonna have somebody that wins the Royal Rumble for the women's side twice for the first time in history? Are they going to call up somebody from NXT? Is it going to be a low or a mid-carder to get that shot? Who is it going to be? But ladies and gentlemen, I will be going first for this one. And so I'll start it off with the Women's Royal Rumble. And my pick is Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch comes back not as the man. That's a big thing. I don't think she'll come back as the man. I think it'll be a new side of Becky. I think, the man, it kind of ran its course. We kind of saw everything that we could for the man. It reached its highs. It got to its kind of lows. And now it's stale. So I think we're going to get a new side of Becky. And I think she's going to come back and win the Royal Rumble. And over on the men's side of things, I had trouble. Is he going to win it? Is he not going to win it? But I'm not going to let you guys steal my pick here. And so I'm going with the 16-time world champion. I'm going with John Cena for the men's Royal Rumble. Take it away, Pete. What were your number ones then? Who you got as your Royal Rumble winners?
All right. So on the women's side, I went with Bianca Belair.
Ooh.
I feel like she has been kind of treading tag team division water all year. And now that Jade Cargill is unfortunately injured, I think this is going to propel Bianca back into the main event scene. And I feel like the Royal Rumble is going to be the perfect place for it. For the men's side, I've got The Rock.
Ooh.
If you smell what I'm cooking.
But Jack,
like that, Pete.
who are your Royal Rumble winners?
For the women, I'm going to join you guys in the fact that both people you picked would become a two-time winner, I believe. And mine would be as well. And Don Lucha, I'm also on the side of a return.
Wow.
And I also think they come back with a little bit of a different gimmick, a little bit of an edge to them, a little bit of
Ronda
a flair
Rousey
to them. Ronda Rousey never won a Rumble. Oh, yes, she did. God,
yes, she did.
Charlotte Flair. We're going with Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte's a great pick.
She can fight anybody. Her and Rhea rematch, cool. Her, assuming Rhea wins title back. Her and Tiffany. If Tiffany cashes in on Nia, that's that'll have Vince McMahon wishing he was still there. Two blondes going at it, like going with Charlotte. As for the men, I don't have any other ideas. So Don Lucha, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ride your pick. I'm going John Cena, man. It's the 16th time you can't see me. Hustle, loyalty, respect, the GOAT. It's gonna add a third Rumble win to his resume. That would also tie
be
Stone
number
Cold
3.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
No, hey, I feel like they're very, on the men's side of things, it's like, it's unpredictable, but the names that you can try to think that could win are very few right now, because it's just trying to plug them in at all, but those are interesting picks. And for the women's side of things, something that I was thinking of that I'm glad I didn't go with is like, I know we have this big match coming up on the debut at Raw on Netflix with Liv and Rhea, and what if Rhea wins the title back, but what if Triple H feels like this needs to drag out to WrestleMania, and he gives Liv Morgan her first Rumble win?
I think he's on his burner Twitter account enough to know that is just not the move anymore.
Next, we got a couple pair of little tournaments that WWE does. Next, we have the King of the Ring and also the Queen of the Ring, but they're combined together. So, Jack, you can start off this one. Who are your King and Queen of the Ring winners of 2025?
Yeah, for Queen of the Ring, we got Io Sky. And then for King of the Ring, I know Pete's going to love it. We're going to see the Prince become the king. We're going with Finn Balor.
So, Pete, who are your King and Queen of the Ring winners?
All right, for my Queen of the Ring, I have Roxanne Perez moving up to the main
Ooh.
roster, and I feel like she's proved herself so much. She's going to be getting a pretty hefty push right off the rip. And King of the Ring, very similar vibe to Roxanne Perez. They're already on the main roster, though. I'm going with King Braun Breaker. I feel like
Oh.
this is just a perfect opportunity to move him from intercontinental title scene to the main event scene. And summertime, fall time, building Braun Breaker into that main event star heading into the 2026 Mania, it just feels like an obvious choice to me.
And so for me, for the Queen of the Ring in 2025, I have Bianca Belair winning the tournament. But for the men's side of things, it kind of plays into my Royal Rumble prediction here. And let me tell you why. Because I think John Cena will be the King of the Ring winner. And let me tell you why here.
Everything.
Let me tell you why. I think it's so expected that he's going to win the Rumble and it's last Mania. It's going to be the one Cinderella moment, Cinderella storytelling, storybook moment. He wins, breaks the record at his last Mania. But what if he doesn't? And what if they break our hearts with that? And so what's next for John Cena? What's the next best way to get to that title again? But earning it. Because you know John Cena isn't one to just, weasel his way into just any kind of title match. Like he's, for the most part, he has to earn it.
Tell that to Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I didn't want to correct myself. I did say for the most part. But I don't see the Money in the Bank being in John Cena's future. But the King of the Ring, to me, is a perfect way to John Cena to earn that championship match again, but also proving that, this is my farewell tour, but I'm not completely washed. I can still hang. I can still beat these names, and I can come back, earn this title shot. And you know what? At SummerSlam, he breaks the record. And so I'm going with John Cena as my King of the Ring winner. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Money in the Bank, currently being held by Tiffany Stratton, and we kind of saw it being wasted by Drew McIntyre and the whole CM Punk rivalry there in the summer. So hopefully in 2025 they readjust that to where it matters again, because for the past few years it just kind of seems like it's been taking a dip. But Pete, you're up first. Who is your Money in the Bank winners for 2025?
All right, starting off with the women's, I have the current longest reigning women's United States champion ever, Chelsea Green. I feel like she was kind of a hot pick for this year to win that briefcase, and it didn't happen. So I feel like after having this United States championship run, I think the Money in the Bank would be a great way to put her in the main event scene. For the men's side of things, I had to think a little bit on this one, but I ultimately settled on Big Bronson Reed winning the men's Money in the Bank. I feel like him, he's been great too, kind of like Breaker. I feel like both of them are getting ready to be propelled into the main event scene, so I wanted to showcase them in some way, so I felt like Breaker winning King of the Ring and Bronson winning Money in the Bank would be great opportunities to do so.
Jack, who are your Money in the Bank winners in 2025?
So on the men's side, going with Carmelo Hayes.
Ooh.
They've been doing the whole plucky upstart thing with him. He's learning his lesson. It ain't so easy on the main roster, Carmelo, but he's still being displayed every week. He's having these good matches. He's just going to say you got good taste, man. I said Chelsea Green with the same thing in mind. She'll drop that U.S. title at some point, and then we'll propel her to bigger things. She's pretty over. We'll see if she can stay over.
I like that you guys going with Chelsea Green both, but you going with Carmelo Hayes. And so I know Triple H likes these long playing stories, and I don't think we'll find out anytime soon. But my Money in the Bank winner for the women's side, who I think attacked Jade Cargill, is Naomi. That's who I'm going with as my Money in the Bank winner.
I like that a lot.
And on the men's side of things, I'm going with the current Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, as the Money in the Bank winner in 2025. Next, we have a couple AEW tournaments. We have the Continental Classic. Quickly, Pete, AEW is more your thing. So who do you have as your Continental Classic winner in 2025?
I have Daniel Garcia.
Ooh. Jack, who is your Continental Classic winner for AEW in 2025?
Yeah, I got a guy who's one of my favorites in AEW. He wasn't in this year's tournament 'cause he's busy defending his title, doing different things. But next year, give me Konosuke Takeshita.
Ooh,
Perfect.
Love
Takeshita.
that.
Born to be a C2 winner, in my opinion. Didn't even get a
Love
minute this
that.
year. So
I am going next, and we all have different winners. This year, he had an incredible showing, made it to the semifinals, and I think next year is the year he makes it over the hump, and he actually wins the whole thing and becomes a champion. I'm going with Kyle Fletcher, the Protostar. Pete's breakout star of 2025. I think Kyle Fletcher is in for incredible, incredible things, and is going to be capped off by winning the C2 next year. And lastly, for the AEW tournaments, we have the Owen for both the men and the women's. I'll start it off here with my picks, and I think for the men's, we'll have Will Ospreay winning the 2025 Owen Hart Cup. And on the women's side of things, I'm going with a name that we haven't seen on AEW TV in a while, but I think in 2025, she's going to make her way over. She's going to do big things, and she's going to win the Owen. And I am going with the current forever Ring of Honor World Women's Champion. I am going with Athena as the Owen winner. So, Jack, take it away here. Who are your Owen Cup winners?
I got Darby Allin on the men's side. I think a title shot and definitely a win is in his future soon. And the women's side, I'm going with someone who we need that reason to propel them to the main event, to the world title scene. So why not have him win this tournament? It's the current TBS champion, Mercedes Moné.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't really think this through because I forgot that they get their title shot at All In, and I even forgot to pick women's Owen winner. So I'm gonna start out with the women's Owen winner though, because once I remembered it was a pretty easy pick. I'm going with one of my favorite wrestlers, Jamie Hayter, who really needs to get back on track. The men's one is where it gets tricky. All right, I'm gonna throw a curveball here because I had a few different names written down for my all-in main event, and depending what you guys chose, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. So I'm gonna do some weird fantasy booking here, and I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna say the winner of the Owen is fellow Canadian, a man who knew the Hearts very well. I'm going with Adam Copeland.
Cope. Ooh, Cope.
win the
Recently
Owen.
returning
I consider
Adam
it.
Copeland. I like that pick, though. I like it. Up next, we have the All in Texas main event. What do we see main eventing All in Texas? Jack, I'll have it starting off with you here. What is your main event?
I'm saying we run back one of the better matches and one of the better feuds in AEW history, but this time roles are kind of reversed. We're going with Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page.
Oh,
Page gets
Oh,
his hands
man,
on
I
that title
love it.
somehow as the heel.
Oh,
Kenny
man, I
Omega's
love
back, pure baby face, no Don Callis in his ear.
Pete, what's your All in main event?
I have my all-in main event as Adam Copeland versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Ooh, okay. Osprey versus Copeland is Pete's pick. I'm going with a little bit of history here. And I'm going with the very first women's main event for an AEW pay-per-view for All In Texas. Give me the AEW Women's World Champion, Mercedes Moné, defending against the Owen Cup winner, Athena. I
Oh,
think
I love
that's
that.
what we're going to be getting.
Tony Khan just gave them their first 20-minute women's match ever. Will he make the big leap to a main event?
Athena's also from Texas, so I feel like that would be an incredible main event.
That's one that I want to see, and I know hundreds of thousands of people as well want to see, man. And so, ladies and gentlemen, rounding out the big events here, we have WrestleMania, both nights, main eventing. I want to see where you guys are headed for creative here.
All right. Night one main event. We have the women's world champion, Rhea Ripley, defending her championship against the Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair.
Ooh.
So here's what I have locked in. I have Cody Rhodes defending his WWE championship against the Royal Rumble winner, The Rock. But what I can't decide is if this is a triple threat with Roman Reigns or if Roman Reigns is now going to be fighting CM Punk. Because since Seth Rollins is fighting CM Punk at Raw on the Netflix debut and not at Mania, now I'm wondering if there's a new direction for Roman Reigns. But the triple threat just sounds so fun. And is Rock going to be able to go one-on-one? I don't know.
You should lock in that triple threat.
I'm gonna make it a triple threat. I'm gonna
Triple
make it a
threat.
triple threat.
He's going with the triple
I'm gonna make it a
threat.
triple threat because you know what? If Roman beats Solo, which unfortunately I think he will, I feel like Roman's gotta take that Ula Fala all the way to the main event and finish his story at WrestleMania.
Okay. So Jack, what are your WrestleMania main events, bro?
Well, it's two. They're easy. Some may call them obvious, but it's good booking, Hunter. It's your draws. It's your needle movers. It might be your 4 biggest names you have available right now on tap. Night 1, we got CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Night 2, we got Cody Rhodes versus The Rock for the undisputed WWE Championship and the People's Championship.
For me, night 1 main event for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns will be taking on CM Punk in the main event of night 1. And in night 2, Cody Rhodes will be defending his WWE Undisputed Championship against the 16-time WWE Champion John Cena in the main event of night 2. Next, we got the juicy ones that I want to hear, that I've been looking forward to and been wanting to hear the most from you guys. Who do you guys see jumping from one company to the other? Let's start off from AEW going to WWE. Jack, ball's in your court. Who do you have switching?
Again, man, I'm sorry to be so obvious, but it's been something I've been wanting for a while. And I think everybody does at this point because we don't get to see him anymore. I got Ricky Starks going to the
repeating your 2024 selection, going back to Ricky Starks. I like it a lot. Pete, who do you got?
Well, these were tough for me to decide. I was doing a little bit of research on contracts, and it doesn't look like many are even ending in 2025. And the person I chose, I don't know when theirs is ending. I could not find it. But I also went with Ricky Starks, if applicable, is going to go to the WWE.
You guys are both going with Ricky. Last year I went with Ricky, and he was on my list potential for this year, but you know what? I didn't want to repeat, so I won't be completing the trifecta. But some of the other names that I also had on my list that I didn't go with were Miro, Ray Phoenix, obviously, Malachi Black.
I was thinking Phoenix and Penta, but I was like, that's
kind of too obvious, right?
That's pretty obvious.
Malachi Black was another one.
No.
But the two that I went with that I couldn't decide on the winner and who, and I think both will end up within WWE territory before the end of 2025. One for the men, one for the women. I see Chris Jericho and Saraya going back.
Ooh, I love
WWE.
it. I love it.
There, bro.
I think you guys deserve 2 legends like Saraya and Chris Jericho on Monday and Friday nights, maybe even Tuesday nights. Jericho would fit right in with an NXT locker room.
I would love Jericho in NXT.
I think that'd be hilarious. I don't even think Jericho's been as bad as people say, personally. He hasn't been good, but
moving on over now, WWE to AEW. This one was a little harder, I would think, because
this one was rough.
Trying to see who is going to be the one to fit that mold in AEW that can switch over.
So I did not see many contracts expiring on the WWE side in 2025. But one interesting one that stood out to me as someone who was called up to the main roster without direction and has never found their direction. I had Dragon Lee. His contract is up in 2025.
Jack, who you got going to from WWE to AEW?
So yeah, because I can't predict jolly old Saint Nick Khan's naughty list of who he's going to release this year, I was also looking at contracts, and there was one. And I'll be honest up front, I don't want this to happen, nor do I think is going to happen. But because the possibility is there and it's juicy and it's a big one for 2025, you said to go bold. I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens.
I knew you were gonna go with that.
I considered it.
Besties with those frauds, the Young Bucks.
The greatest
He's over
tag
there
team of
for
all
him.
time, you mean?
He doesn't have to. I don't have to share a locker room with CM Punk. Oh, boo hoo! It's easier over there for KO. You know he'd do great things in AEW too. It would be awesome. He'd be Kevin Steen
Absolutely.
again. It would be fun. I just think that I like Kevin Owens in WWE right now. I also think he kind of is like a lifer. It feels like almost at this point. He's been treated well there. So is Sami Zayn. But you never know. Never say never, as they say. It's that best friends with the Young Bucks that's really itching me. And if he does leave, I do want to see him feud with CM Punk first. In fact, maybe CM Punk can retire it, kick him out of a little match, a little loser leaves town match. See a KO.
I kind of have guys on the lower end of things here, but I think two names that I think in WWE are just kind of fizzled out, and we don't really hear much or see much of in these days, that I think could go to AEW. I went with two names being Apollo Crews and Giovanni Vinci. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to the last portion of the video, the rapid fire. No explanation. All it is, who do you have holding the title that I will be saying at the end of the year, at the end of 2025? So we're going to be starting things off here with the WWE Women's Championship, the one that's currently on SmackDown, being held by Nia Jax. Jack, we'll start off with you. Who do you have holding that championship?
Charlotte Flair.
Woo! Going with Charlotte. Pete, who you got?
Roxanne Perez.
Going with Rox. Okay, I also went with Charlotte Flair there. So 2 years in a row where me and Jack go with the same person. Are we going to be wrong again? Going over to the WWE Women's World Championship, the one that you see on Monday Night Raw, currently being held by Liv Morgan. Pete, who is your pick?
Ending Bianca Belair's reign after she wins it at WrestleMania, I have Jade Cargill.
Ooh, okay, going with Jade. Jack?
I have Rhea Ripley.
Going with Rhea. Okay. I went with Jordan Grace. I think Jordan
I
Grace
almost did that.
is
That
going to
was
be
close.
holding that championship to end 2025. Moving over to AEW, we got the AEW Women's Championship. Pete, who you got holding that to end 2025?
Who else but Mercedes Moné?
Ooh, okay. Jack?
Great minds think alike. I also have Mercedes Moné.
You know what? I had two names because if you guys picked Monet, I was going to go with the other name. And so I will be going with the other name. I think to end 2025, AEW Women's World Champion will be Willow Nightingale. Give me that.
Love that too.
Give me that. And sticking with the AEW, we have the AEW World Championship. Who do you have holding it to end 2025, Jack?
Will Ospreay.
Ooh, Pete?
Also have Will Ospreay.
Ooh, trifecta time. I went with Will last year. I'm going with Will this year again. Give me Will Ospreay. And for the WWE side of things, the main two titles, we got the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, currently being held by the Ring General Gunther. Pete, who is your World Heavyweight Champion to close 2025?
To close 2025, the world champion is going to be Roman Reigns.
Ooh, okay. Jack? Ooh, Breaker. Pete went with Roman. I went with Drew McIntyre.
Ooh.
I think Drew gets rewarded for all his hard work, his great character work, for all his his moments at home that he got robbed in front of his crowd. I think he finally gets rewarded with a nice championship reign. And closing things off for the titles, we had the WWE Undisputed Championship. To close out 2025, Jack, who is your champion?
The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Ooh, Cody. Okay. Pete?
Seth freaking Rollins.
Wow. Okay. And I went with give me Braun Breaker. I think he
Nice.
retires John Cena and he takes that title from Mr. Cena there. I like it a lot. And last, ladies and gentlemen, the big one. One bold prediction for 2025. Pete, I'll have you started off.
I had a little bit of fun with mine. Picked one that I really want to see happen. Maybe not everyone else, but I really want to see it happen. My bold prediction for 2025
Matt Cardona.
is that Matt Cardona
He knew it.
is that Matt Cardona signs to a major company. Get it?
Yeah.
And not only does he sign to a major company, but by the end of 2025, he becomes a champion in that company.
All right, Jack. So, what is your bold prediction for 2025?
All right, this is a quick hit, so I'm not going to explain it. Cody Rhodes heel.
Oh, it's self-explanatory. Okay, Cody Rhodes heel is Jack's big prediction.
I think his
for
best work was a heel after he left WWE.
But closing this off with my big bold prediction, I kind of went the same route that Pete did, with somebody signing to a major company and winning a title in that company. In 2025,
oh, I know this one.
I think we will see Mina Shirakawa sign with the WWE and win an NXT championship in 2025 in the same year. I think I'm going with Mina signing with the WWE. Well, there you have it, folks. There are our 2025 early end of year predictions. Go ahead and let us know in the comments, what was outlandish? What are your predictions? Who do you guys have winning the Rumble, holding championships, returning to the ring, going from AEW to WWE and vice versa? All of that, let us know in the comments. Pete, Jack, thank you guys for doing this. Can't wait for 2026 when we do this again next year, man. Thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.